What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my opinions for upcoming banners coming to the global version of the game. Now before we do start, remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help the channel guys, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. We have hit, at least at the time of this recording, about 160 likes on my previous Should You Pull video. Let's keep at it guys and really aim for that 200 likes all the time. Without further ado, let's start this video. Okay guys, we'll start this video off with Alisaie's rework, which she will be getting at the time of the release of this event. Her changes are pretty much the same all throughout the changes or the variants of her abilities. So her arrow changes, basically raises her brave based on her attack before delivering a 5-hit brave hit now, and that will of course include an HP attack. This will have a 120% max brave overflow. The same thing can be said for Verstone, pretty much identical changes. As for her enchanted riposte, I hope I pronounced that right. This will have an increase in brave hit to 3 and will get a 120% max brave overflow as well. Now as for her Verholy changes, the same thing. It raises her brave now based on her attack before delivering a 6-hit magic brave attack plus HP attack. This will have a 115% max brave overflow limit. Now as for her skill 2, her Thunder changes, basically it all gets an increase in brave hit count and will get a 50% splash damage to non-targets. This is for both Thunder and Fire, as well as Flare. Flare will be doing a 6-hit fire magic brave attack though, instead of just the 5-hit brave attack. Her enchanted redoublement changes, increases the brave hit count to 5 and will have a 150% max brave overflow limit. Other than that, there's really not much changes. Flare still has the 120% max brave overflow. The reason why I didn't add it there was because it stayed the same. So just so you guys know, there is an overflow for Flare. However, there's no max brave overflow for both Thunder and Fire, but they do have that 50% splash damage, just so you guys know. Okay, now let's take a look at Alisaie's EX. This is an old EX now. She will get the ability Jolt 2 combo, which is a 3-hit magic brave plus HP attack. This increases the white and black mana by 2, extends the dual cast by 1 turn. This will have no action delay, it will not increase the turn count, however it still decreases the friend support and summon action count. This will have a normal recast speed, and at 1 out of 3 this will increase the brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3 this will grant the duelist buff for 8 turns, and at 3 out of 3 this will increase its recast speed. Now the duelist buff increases both her attack and speed. Now Alisaie will also be getting her realization for this event at 0 out of 3 when you're using Jolt 2 combo. This will now become a 2-hit magic brave plus HP attack delivered 3 times. It will increase its brave potency and inflict the Fire, Thunder, Wind, Earth resist down debuff to all targets for 6 turns. Now she will also have access to both her Brave Attack Plus and HP Attack Plus. Her Brave Attack Plus will be a 2-hit magic brave attack and will grant 1 black and white mana. Her HP attack, which will be a 2-hit magic brave plus HP attack, will turn to enchanted riposte when her black and white mana is between 1 and 5, and if this is over 5 this will change to enchanted redoublement. So it's a pretty good HP attack, especially if you have the black and white mana over 5. It is a very powerful HP attack. Now at 1 out of 3 this will raise her max brave by 80% and her attack by 40%. And at 2 out of 3 when the quest starts, this will turn her Arrow to Verstone and turns her Thunder to Fire straight away. This will also fill up her EX gauge to its max. And finally at 3 out of 3 this will increase the number of brave hits by 3, increasing its brave potency. And now before the last HP attack is delivered, she will raise her brave by 20% of the accumulated HP damage dealt. The duelist buff will also get an added effect. It will now slightly raise the max brave overflow limit for the stolen brave. Now the bonus sphere you're getting for this one is critical magic attack up long. When dealing a critical hit, this will raise your magic attack by 15% for 6 turns. Alright guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Alisaie's rework and of course her realization, how much should you be investing on Alisaie if she's a character you want to use moving forward? Honestly, I really think you really need to go a minimum of 3 out of 3 for Alisaie. And the biggest reason for this is the additional number of brave hits for her EX. Now, if you go 0 out of 3, you notice that it is only a 2-hit brave attack, which means in the most likely scenario is she won't be capping on those EX attacks anytime soon. So you really want to take advantage of the increase of brave hits by 3 and increasing its potency as well, of course. Plus, the duelist buff does get an extra effect to it, which increases your max brave overflow, which is really nice. However, I do have to say, if you are a fan of Alisaie, then you should be able to understand how her rotation works, because she's one of these characters that actually has a rotation just like in an MMO. So she was kind of broken in a way before, because she had a lot of free turns and she gets her turns really quickly as well. So that's why she was one of those characters that could actually solo her EX stage by herself during the time when her EX came out. She was very powerful. I do believe that was around her Lost chapter, and I managed to do it myself. And I gotta say, she was kinda broken in terms of free turns. However, her damage was the lowest point for her. So with this addition of her realization, it sort of kind of fixes her problems a little bit. Of course, increasing the number of brave hits for all her abilities, and of course for her EX plus as well. This also kind of fixes her problem with the startup as well. At 2 out of 3, you start off at Verse Stone and Verse Fire straight away. You don't have to waste kind of a turn in order for you to get to the next stage. So the ramp up time is much quicker, and the brave hits are a lot stronger. So 3 out of 3 is definitely the way to go. Alright guys, so now let's move on to Shantotto'S LD, which will be debuting on this event, which she will get her ability called Salvation Sight, which will have 2 uses, and it's going to be an 8-hit dark AoE magic brave attack plus AoE HP attack. This will increase the brave damage dealt when there's only a single target, and will have a 180% max brave overflow limit. Now this will deal full HP damage to all targets, so that's 100%. And will also inflict the Curse of Destruction debuff on a target for 1 turn. Now, she will also be granted the Rage mode for 6 turns. Now, for 4 turns, her HP attack variance will turn to the Rage HP attack variance. Now, Curse of Destruction basically lowers the enemy's defense by 100%, and will also inflict a paralysis on top of that as well. Now, at 1 out of 3 limit break, this will raise her attack by 40% and increases her max brave by 10%, and increases the brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3, her attack will again raise by another 40% and her max brave another 10%, and extends the maximum duration of the rage mode to 10 turns. Now, when she's using Salvation Sight, this will extend the Rage mode by 4 turns, extends the availability of the Rage HP attack by another 4 turns, and her Brave attack will now be a Brave attack plus, and her HP attack will be a HP attack plus. Now, while she's on Rage mode, basically this will turn into the plus variants, and while she's on Rage mode and have the Peerless power buff active as well, this will turn into the plus variant, which will be a 4-hit wind magic brave attack, and extends the duration of rage by 10 turns, which has a limit of 10, and her HP attack plus will raise her brave based on her max brave before attacking. This will do a 2-hit wind magic brave attack plus HP attack, and the stolen brave can overflow up to 120% of her max brave, and extending the duration of rage by 10 turns. And finally at 3 out of 3, this will again raise her attack by 40%, raises her max brave by another 10, and we'll get 1 extra usage. Okay, now let's move on to Shantotto'S burst, which is, oh my god, the names, I swear. Vidu Hunir? Okay, it's going to be a 12-hit AoE, dark AoE magic brave attack plus single target HP attack, which moderately raises the brave damage dealt when attacking a single target. This will have a 50% splash damage and will have a max brave damage limit increase by 50% and maximum HP damage limit of plus 80%. Now the burst effect will last for 5 turns and it is going to be party wide. This will increase the elemental weakness damage basically, and increasing the brave damage limit by 20%, which is kind of insane. And it will also increase the stolen max brave overflow by 50%. Now the burst effects from the same character do not stack. Alright guys, so after hearing about Shantotto'S LD and burst, I guess, should you be actually chasing for these weapons? In all honesty, like I said before, and a lot of YouTubers have been saying before, just chase for the LD. The burst is sort of like an extra factor, extra reward, an extra prize, to be honest. And although I do like Shantotto'S burst effects much better than Squall's, because this increases the max brave limit and actually increases the stolen brave as well, the limit for the stolen brave, which is really nice. If you really think about it, this would ensure that you're really taking advantage of all your DPS or DPT, as some people would like to call it. So, you know, overall, she is really great. The LD does have that paralysis attached to it and 100% defense down, which will make sure that you are capping your brave hits as well, especially if you have other buffs included. And she is still the Imperial Queen, right? So all your, you know, if you have enchant on as well, it's definitely gonna help with your party composition and your overall damage. I still think the burst is kind of okay. Would have really liked it if it was 100% damage instead of just 50% splash damage. It's not that great in terms of damage wise, but nonetheless it is still a pretty high damaging ability. So, you know, again, it's a prize, right? You don't really need to get it. The LD is something you might want to chase for if Shantotto is one of your favorite characters, and it will help you actually get through at least the next 3 events as well. So really something you really have to think about if you want to try and chase for Shantotto. Alright guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video. The final question remains, should you pull? In my honest opinion, chase the LD, not the burst. Because with the burst, it's still going to be in multiple banners in the future. So for Ultimisia's Lost Chapter banner and Dash's banner as well, you can grab Shantotto'S burst. And I feel like the Ultimisia banner is probably the best banner. Some might argue Dash is a pretty good banner to grab her burst as well, because he is going to be a new character, so there's a lot of weapons that you need to get for him, including his EX and his burst. So if you do multi summons there and get Shantotto'S burst, that is going to be really great. In these banners, unfortunately, there's quite a lot of old characters. Mind you, they're not that bad, right? Alisaie gets a rework, she's really good. Porum, I think, is still pretty good as well as a support hero. Kryle, I think, is still one of the most underrated characters in the game. When her first EX Plus came out, she was one of my most surprising investments in the game. And, you know, even though I think she's good, I don't think she's that great anymore, but she's still very useful in certain situations. But yeah, in this one, I just highly suggest that just chase the LD, use your tickets, and of course, if there are multiple characters in the banner that you don't have the EX just yet and you think you might want to invest in them, then you probably think you can use your gems. But you really have to look at your roster and see what you really need. Do you need enchanters and imperialers from Kryle and Lulu? And Aiko as well is a holy imperialer. So there's still quite a few characters here that are going to be useful, but they're just gonna be good, not really great, right? Some of them can be great, like Alisaie, multiple imperials as well. So that's the name of the game in these banners. If you need imperialers and enchanters, this is the banner for you. But again, there are a lot of very good burst weapons coming out in the near future, so just watch out in terms of chasing actual burst weapons. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And make sure to hit that bell button if you don't want to miss anything. And if you did leave a like, it does help with the YouTube algorithm as well. Make sure to leave down in the comments below as well what you think of this banner, and are you going to be chasing for Shantotto'S LD or her burst, or both? Let me know down in the comments below. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.